Hey, listen, that's Caleb Farley. Caleb Farley, bringing it.
You didn't know, now you know. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. On the Unbuttoned podcast with our guest, with our brother, Chris Sims. And so, hey, Brother Sims, correct me if I'm wrong. If I remember your cornerback rankings, this was your number one corner. And what did you hear from him that kind of reinforced the ranking that you had before you even talked to him?
A little bit what you just saw right there, an attitude, a confidence, a bravado that you need to be a really special corner in the NFL. You know, I got to be around a few in my lifetime. You know, I a little bit with Ty Law when he was with the Broncos. I was there with Champ Bailey. Aqib Talib, are you kidding me? I mean, that guy was always ready for a showdown with anybody. Rondé Barber, yeah, a little bit more quiet, but a quiet confidence. I mean, Caleb Farley, guys, to me, that he's one of the most interesting players in the whole draft because I really think you can make an argument that he's one of the 2 or 3 best players in the whole draft, minus the quarterbacks. But we know he opted out and he's had back surgery, and I don't know where he ends up. But like I said back then, you know, when we did the quarterback rankings, I've never seen a corner that size that can move the way he can move. The legit acceleration, burst out of breaks, plays the ball like he's a wide receiver. He's amazing, and I'm very intrigued to see where it all shakes out for him as far as the draft goes.
And you like him?
You know that opt out.
Oh, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say
I was still talking about Farley. Are you staying on Farley, right, Mike?
Yeah, Farley, still with Farley.
Okay,
but
cool.
Is he? I know you have him rated above Patrick Surtain II. Is it a big difference between those two, or is it pretty subtle?
I think it is. I think there's a significant gap for me. There is. You know, again, I like Surtain. He is a really good football player. There's no weakness to him. But I'm big, as I told you back then, a little bit on like, if we're going to draft corners in the top 10, the top 20, the first round, I need a guy that like, hey, you go cover that guy. You see that guy? We need you to cover him for 40 snaps, man-to-man. We're not helping you out or doing anything. And that's, to me, what Caleb Farley can do. He could be that shutdown Darrelle Revis, Champ Bailey, Aqib Talib. I'll cover the best receiver guys. You guys figure out what the rest of the defense is going to do. Don't worry about me over there. Surtain can do some of that, but I don't think to that ability. Surtain lacks that 6th gear that we've talked about. You know, it looked good. I understand he ran a good pro day, or a good 40 at his pro day. But again, I'm going to always weigh on the film more than anything. And I never saw any receiver even come close to outclassing Caleb Farley as far as just pure athleticism and explosion.
Doesn't seem like it's been reflected in any mock drafts, but I do want to stay on that topic, Chris, of kids that opted out last year. Because it even came up when Ryan Day was defending Justin Fields, and doing so to Peter King, he juxtaposed Justin Fields leading the way to get the Big Ten back with the other kids who opted out, Farley being one of them. I'm wondering, and I know you're knee-deep in the film, and so I'm not sure how much you've just had a chance to really dig deep on this issue, but NFL teams can be pretty fickle, unfairly so. And they seem so oftentimes to look for reasons to question kids' character, which I think is wholly unfair, to question somebody's character when they decided that playing in the midst of a pandemic was where they had to draw the line. How much, I say all that to ask this question, how much have you heard, as it relates to Farley in particular, but just players in general, how much have you heard NFL decision makers question kids' commitment, those who chose to opt out this past season?
Sure. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's an interesting topic. I mean, I think you said a lot of right things. And I asked Caleb Farley all about this, you know, this question, and do you think that's going to hurt you in some team's eyes and make you, and he was honest. He's like, yeah, it is. It's humbling. He says it stinks, but I'm probably going to drop a little bit because of that. He realized that. He keeps it real with himself. Yes, listen, you guys know coaches. Some of them can be lack human emotions to a degree. They can be just drill sergeants. I don't know. That's just the best way I can say it, where they just don't have the ability to have empathy or put themselves in someone else's shoes, and they'll judge off of that. And it's crazy. I mean, it is. They'll judge you off of anything. But I think, the real coach, the better coaches in NFL will not judge like that. That would be my assessment of that. And it'd be stupid to judge as far as this situation is concerned. And Caleb Farley would be the perfect poster child to tell any coach out there, like, hey, you're being a jerk and you're just looking for a reason to say a guy doesn't love football. First off, in my 30-minute interview with him, the guy, he bleeds football. You could see he loves it. He wants to compete. He wants to dominate. But you got to take into like the context of the situation too. Caleb Farley's mother passed away his freshman year in college from cancer. Okay, so I think if I put myself in his shoes, I'd go, well, man, I mean, COVID, and at the time we didn't have nearly the same information that we did at that time. He's going probably like, man, I don't want to get sick and get my dad sick, and now I lose my dad and I've lost my mom and all that too. So, yeah, it's unfair to judge, and especially at the start of the football season when, there wasn't the same, information out there at that time, and we were all scared to death of what the hell was going to happen. I know, exactly right. We don't know crap.
Effects are,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what, Chris? I think the rookie of the year, based on mock drafts, the defensive rookie of the year is going to be drafted 13 or below, somewhere in the teens, maybe in the 20s. You tell me, who's it going to be? It's like, okay, let's have some fun here. Who's the guy that probably should be a top 10 talent, but we're obsessed with quarterbacks and receivers and maybe a couple linemen, so there's still going to be some defensive players just going to slip through there. Who is it?
Yeah, no, I like that. It's a good question. I mean, first off, Caleb Farley, without a doubt. I mean, he could be that guy. Pick sixes, covering the best receivers in football, doing all that type of stuff. So he'd be one. The other guy that we talked about, I think that was last week or 2 weeks ago, similar situation where I'd go, it's hard. Like, out of the quarterbacks, you take him out. I don't know how you could watch the film with Jaelan Phillips in Miami and not think he's one of the 5 best players in the draft. But he did have the concussion problem and retired from football after he left UCLA that 1 year. And that's going to be a big question. He shows no signs of having any regard for like, oh, maybe I shouldn't hit that guy because my head's been hurt a few times. I mean, he brings it every play, throws his body around. So I could see those two, and then the other one I'll throw in there is Kwity Paye from Michigan. To me, that's a guy that's just, he's too strong, too explosive in short areas to where I think those three to me really jump out as special entities and could be, some of the best defensive players in the league as rookies.
It'll certainly be exciting to see what systems they end up to, and if they're able to take advantage of their skill sets instantly. We could go with any number of picks and just sit there with you, but I actually want to hone in on number 5.
Okay.
For now, Cincinnati. And traditionally, Cincinnati doesn't move around a whole lot. They usually just sit tight and pick. Obviously, Joe Burrow needs to be protected. No question, full stop. If you, and as a quarterback, that's why I'm coming to you as a quarterback, but also as a decision maker, as a general manager. You could draft Penei Sewell, who Anthony Munoz advocated for today.
Of course.
That the Bengals take Penei Sewell if he's
there
at 5, right? Like, why would the greatest tackle in team history, one of the best in NFL history, advocate for them to take a tackle? But there's a lot of sound logic to taking a premier left tackle at the 5th pick. Also, the best receiver in college football from the year before, another opt-out in Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow's teammate, obviously, available. The only thing I keep pointing out, Chris Sims, is that the draft is more than one round. So you really can't go wrong at 5, because at 37, which is where they pick next, there'll be a good offensive lineman or receiver, maybe not on the same level, available at 37. All right, all that to say, what would you do? You're running the Cincinnati draft room. What do you do at 5?
and I mean Kyle Pitts, you could throw into that conversation with them there at number
Kyle
5
Pitts,
too,
yeah.
right at tight end. So there's another guy. All right, there's 2 things I like about the Bengals. The positions we look at that you're talking about there that we need, right? If you're a Bengals fan, wide receiver and tackle are, I would say, 2 of the deeper positions in the draft. For a draft that's not real deep, there's a lot of good offensive linemen, not necessarily first-round linemen like that, but I still sit there and go, man, I saw a lot of linemen that can be second, third, fourth-round picks, and I go, they can start year 1 in the NFL and help their football team out there. That's a great question. They did sign Riley Reef in free agency to at least hold down the fort a little bit at one of those tackle positions. That might give them the little flexibility, right? To where I'd probably still go tackle. I was going to try to talk myself out of that for a second and go for the damn receiver or something like that. I know. But I think just there's 2 things. Joe Burrow that you mentioned, and then Joe Mixon is one of the 5 most talented running backs in the NFL for my money. And it'd be nice if he had a hole to run through every now and then so everybody could realize how damn talented he is. So I guess what I'm telling you is you play in that division with those defenses in Baltimore and Pittsburgh, get a damn offensive lineman, and then the second round, there'll still be a pretty damn good receiver there to help, round out that group. That's a good question. I haven't thought about that one.
No, but I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought Gerald Everett. I think there was speculation that he would end up in Cincinnati. He's in Seattle. I beg your pardon.
Yep. Yeah.
Nonetheless, sorry about that. I misspoke there. But nonetheless, I think it's just an example, Michael Holley, of like when you just got so much time on your hands, it's like you can talk yourself in circles and overthink this process, something serious if you're not careful. Like, you start getting too cute leading up to April 29th.
And I bet you there's going to be some teams that do that too. Chris, I'm so glad you're on because I think we were on the air when this happened. We find out that the Jets send a 2nd, 4th, and 6th to Carolina. They get a 2nd, 4th, and 6th. They send Sam Darnold to Carolina.
We haven't talked to you since then. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying, what's your take on that trade on Sam Darnold? I just want to hear what you have to say about it.
Well, I mean, first off, from the Jets aspect, I like it because you know what that means. It's Zach Wilson time here in New York. That's what I'm pumped for that. You guys know I'm a big fan, and now he's going to be right here in our backyard, and I'll always get to see him play and all that stuff. It is that other team in New York. It's not my favorite team because I'm a big Blue fan, all right? I'm a Giants fan. But, from that aspect, it is really cool. I think Jets fans should be really excited. And we talked about this guy's got some Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes ability to him. And in this offense, it could be exciting. From the Panthers' perspective, I get it. I like the move. I think the first thing that really jumps out to me is obviously they didn't feel totally comfortable with maybe a Fields or Trey Lance pick that would be there at number 8, right? And as you've heard me say, there's still some polish to those guys that is needed. Sam Darnold, you can win football games. You can go to the playoffs. You can win a Super Bowl with him. He's shown enough to me. He can be a franchise quarterback, not a superstar quarterback. I don't think that's in him.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait, hold on. I have
you hold on. Let me finish my answer first.
I'm excited. No, I just want you to repeat that for emphasis.
Yeah.
We can't just keep going. We got to stop for a second. I have never. I was advocating to keep Sam Darnold. I have never heard anybody speak with that kind of conviction. And you just said you can go to the playoffs and you can win a Super Bowl based on what you've seen so far.
Yeah,
Sam Darnold. Did that not strike you, Michael? Yeah. That was bold.
Yeah, no, I want him. I want Chris Sims to explain it, but I agree. I agree with him. I'll tell you why. But you go ahead, Chris. I'll tell you why I agree.
Again, we put too much on the quarterback too. I just would like to remind you one more time that Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl and only lost by 7. Okay,
there you go.
I mean, Blake Bortles was in the Final 4 of the NFL. Nick Foles has won a Super Bowl.
MVP,
The Broncos.
Nick Foles.
Right. The Broncos in 2015, and I mean no disrespect by this, but I just keep it real.
With the
they won the Super Bowl with the worst quarterback in football. I mean, statistically and realistically, it was the worst.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that, as far as like he's going to be a superstar, but I think he is better than what we've seen, and I think he really fits the offense and what they want to do there in Carolina. That's what I would say to you, Michael Smith. Because it's a West Coast offense, and I think they're looking for a wheeler and dealer, a Drew Brees, a Joe Burrow, that type of guy. Quick decisions. Hey, make that guy miss in the pocket. He's got great feet in the pocket. He's got a very quick release. And the other thing is, he is a phenomenal passer between 5 and 20 yards. I mean, phenomenal. On the money all the time. And I think when you talk about that offense with McCaffrey, Ian Thomas at tight end, the two receivers and Anderson and DJ Moore, I think it's a smart play by Carolina. And yes, again, I'm not trying to say you're going to see like Josh Allen, Mahomes, Deshaun Watson type play from Sam Darnold, but I think it's plenty good to where he can win football games and lead a team. I do.
Oh, and just to be clear, brother, that wasn't me disagreeing with you. I just wanted to make sure we didn't just like we drilled down.
Yeah. I hear you.
Like nobody just like no. I've been clamoring. Like Sam Darnold has gotten a raw deal so far. I think he will be Ryan Tannehill in Carolina, the same way Tannehill.
I can
left
see that
the
too.
Dolphins, and he wasn't that bad with the Dolphins, and then went to Tennessee.
No, right.
This is the last one I got. This is the last one I got for you. Is at 3. Speaking of overthinking and having too much time on our hands, and this, that, and the other. And this was always the plan. So Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are going to attend Justin Fields' second pro day. They had to make a choice, and they went to Mac Jones as the first time. Have you heard, seen, felt anything, hairs on the back of your neck, whatever, that makes you think that the third pick could still be in question? You were pretty adamant at the beginning. It's Mac Jones.
Right. I would still be shocked if it's not Mac Jones, but I'm not like going to sit here and tell you that it's like definite in stone all the way. Hey, listen, knowing my friend Kyle Shanahan, I just like all of us, I bet you he's still stirring in his brain going, wait, what would my offense look with all these cool run plays I got? And I got a quarterback who could also get on the edge and break a 60-yard run like Trey Lance or Justin Fields. I'm sure he's still going through the gymnastics of that in his head a little bit. Now, like I've always said, I think Mac Jones is the safer pick, just because there's a lot of pro stuff he did at Alabama, and he's a really high-level thrower and passer and decision maker. And I know it's not always wowing that way, right? But I don't think it's set in stone yet. And here's the other thing you got to remember too, Michael Smith. The Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields all worked with John Beck. John Beck played with Kyle Shanahan. There's a relationship there. They were friends and pretty close back in the day. And I'm sure Shanahan has a really good feel for all three of those guys just through what John Beck has told them. I wouldn't be shocked, but no, I don't think it's definite yet. I'm definitely leaning Mac Jones, but like I said, I don't think it's written in stone.
Yeah, I love it.
Did we lose?
We got you.
I love I lost you. Hold on, I don't hear you.
No, but we got you.
Oh, I got you now. I got you.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I would say, just as we say goodbye, I love your Sam Darnold can win a Super Bowl. Last 10 years. We're not talking about ancient history here. You already mentioned Nick Foles, Super Bowl MVP. Jimmy Garoppolo had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. Even though they're disappointed with him, he had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, and they lost that game. Joe Flacco in the Super Bowl. I mean, Jared Goff. You got a lot of guys who are not necessarily franchise quarterbacks.
Russell Wilson, he wasn't Russell Wilson at that point.
Yeah, so there are a lot of guys who can get you there. You can get there and you can win it if you got the right kind of team.
But that's why, all right, okay, I was going to say goodbye, but okay, this is too good of an opportunity here. Too much good opportunity. Okay. But Chris, that's why I know you love Zach. I am sitting between the two. Somebody asked me the other day, Chris, don't lie, on Twitter. Somebody said, why are you convinced that Zach Wilson is better than Justin Fields? I was like, you know what? I don't know. Because Chris Sims and Michael Holley tell me he is. Like, honestly, I don't have a good answer for you. and but having said,
I'm proud of that
between
boy.
the two biggest Zach
Proud of
Wilson
my son.
cheerleaders and Zach Wilson advocates that I know. When I ask you this, that was the reason why from day one, even when they were in play for the number 1 pick, I thought the move for the Jets was to keep Sam Darnold and to build around Sam Darnold for all the reasons you just laid out and the talent that he has. So why was that the right move in your mind to move on from Sam Darnold? And they got some picks back, which give him 21 in the next 2 drafts, which is incredible, to move on from Sam Darnold and to take another quarterback, setting aside the rookie contract part, setting aside the fact that resetting it financially.
Yeah, right. I got you.
Why was that the right move? Why was that the right move in spite of what you said about Sam Darnold?
Great question. Listen, before this whole draft process started, I was saying exactly what you're saying. Like, it ain't that bad. They can win with Sam Darnold. Maybe you should trade that pick. You can get more picks or whatever, or you pick whoever you want at number 2 at some other position. I was saying that. But I would think their logic is somewhat like mine, where they're going, wait, Sam Darnold's good and we can win games, but this guy could be like a superstar and maybe the best quarterback in the NFL and take us to a different height on the offensive side of the ball compared to where Sam Darnold did. Like, I think Zach Wilson can have years of his career like we just saw Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes have here in the past few years.
Fair enough.
I would think ultimately that's the thought they came to. I think they were probably there already, but then the pro day came, and then they were like, all right, let's just meet him and go to the pro day. And then they were like, zoom, zoom, zoom. Whoa, lasers are all over the place here. Okay, we're taking Zach Wilson. Hello? Does anybody want Sam Darnold? Anybody want him? And I think that's probably what it went down, and that's how it would have gone down for me too.
Fair enough.
All right, good stuff.
All right, man. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you. It's always fun. Always a good time.
Yeah,
Thanks.
good
Always
stuff.
is.
Enjoy your
Be good, guys.
Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
You
3
too.
weeks to go,
Be
Chris.
good.
3 weeks, brother.